Hey everybody, welcome into the Orange Zone pregame show. I'm Tommy Sladak. This is Jonathan Singh. Week 5, how are we feeling?
Feeling good. SU on the road for the first time since week 1, a big test because conference play is underway, Tommy.
The conference play is underway, and SU's 3-1 heading in.
Yeah.
We had said earlier, maybe late August, as we were getting ready for this season, that if SU wanted a shot at being a bowl team, which coming from a 1-10 season, very much a goal, we said 3 wins would be big heading into conference play, and they did just that.
And Tommy, look at this SU schedule right now from the first 4 games. Obviously, a big win to start the season in Ohio. Come back home for the Dome opener this season. A tough loss to Rutgers. They beat the brakes off UAlbany, and obviously a big 24-21 win over Liberty last week.
And a team that was number 26 in the AP Top 25. They were knocking on the door of breaking into those rankings. Right. And so to see them pull that one off, and obviously it was very close and quite literally came down to the wire when you're hitting a winning field goal in the final seconds. So we're going to show you those highlights right now. And it was really a strip fumble by Cody Roscoe that put them at this 3-1 position.
Tommy, arguably the biggest play of the game.
Andre Schmidt, of course, ending up booting that one through. You were on the field for that reaction. That was fun to see.
35 yards out, players storm the field after. Why not? You beat a Liberty team that was undefeated.
And a storyline that stayed consistent all year long was Sean Tucker. His performance, 31 carries. You could tell the dude was just exhausted by the end. He even had one play where it just looked like the wind got knocked out of him, but he was able to do just a tremendous job. And there's a reason why he's one of the biggest rushers in the country and in the conference. The other big storyline was Garrett Schrader getting that start over Tommy DeVito. What do you think about his opening performance as a starter?
Opening performance, in my opinion, was good, but he's also a very confident runner, which also helps out the run game with him and Sean Tucker.
Let's take a look at Florida State. We talked about SU being 3-1. The Seminoles 0-4. And as we walk you through this schedule, it's an interesting one. They started with Notre Dame, now number 9 on the AP Top 25. They lost that one in overtime, 41-38. Certainly an offense that put up points. But this is where it really felt like the train went off the rails. That was that Jacksonville State absolute Hail Mary play to end it for making them go 0-2. The third game, Wake Forest, a team that is 4-0, also in the top 25. They got spanked. And then most recently, Louisville, who is now 3-1. They lost by 8 points. So, John, looking at that just from the jump, an 0-4 team, but one that SU just can't sleep on.
Tommy, now's a good time to head into the coaches' corner.
The minds of the big dogs.
Who's that?
Dino Babers.
Mike Norvell, Florida State, Syracuse. This week we had a chance to hear from both head coaches, Tommy, and they had some good things to say.
To me, we're going to play it one game at a time. And every game is different. I mean, the game we just played Saturday could have ended up a different way, all based on analytics, on whether you go for it, don't go for it. Decisions made in the game are going to decide who wins and loses.
You know, they've done a really good job of establishing run game. And, I mean, they've got a dynamic back. The quarterback can definitely run. Big kid. Has a good arm. It's just, he has a great deal of talent. They're going to have a specific plan for him and what they want to do. We've seen a little bit of it implemented, but they're going to have a plan for us, and so we've got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves, communicating, doing a great job, and then we got to trust what we see, and then you'll be able to react to that with a relentless pursuit to the ball.
Well, right now it looks like the ACC is up for grabs. And as we get into conference play, this is where I think we can really start to dive into it. Beginning of the year, out of conference, hard to really judge when you see a team at 0-2, 0-3. But taking a look at the standings, John, I'm going to say this flat out. No one had this.
No.
In terms of where we be heading into the month of October. Let's start it right off the top. Wake Forest, number 24, Demon Deacons, 4-0. As we can see, they're solid. Very solid. Boston College, a little bit anticipated. As you see there, I kind of ranked this by overall record because you see Wake Forest, they've had 2 ACC games. Then you look at teams like Syracuse, Boston College, haven't been able to get into the mix yet. Louisville, after losing that first game, won 3 straight. In the Wolfpack, I like the Wolfpack.
Big win over Clemson last week, an overtime win
Yeah, Clemson didn't fit the first page. That's where they are right now. But they're still ranked in the top 25, kind of what happens when you're a team that's made the college football playoffs so many years in a row to still be 2-2 and get to that point. As you can see there, Florida State rounding out the ACC Atlantic. As we've already talked about, they have not won a game.
Well, it's important that we speak with the alumni. And every week we hear from the former SU running back, Damian Rose.
Our main man, Pots and Pans.
Pots and Pans.
Great dude.
And this week on the back roads, we heard from Damian, and he has some really good thoughts about the Orange, especially starting quarterback Garrett Schrader.
Just watching him versus the other games, even on the first series, he had this calm-looking presence, like no big deal, which is
Very composed.
yes. And as when you're in a huddle with a quarterback that has that, it does keep everybody feeling good and relaxed, but yet still ready to keep going and get it.
This week, we also heard from a sports anchor in Tallahassee, Florida, because it's important for us to hear from the other sideline and what's going on down there. So take a listen to Ryan Kelly. He's a sports anchor in Tallahassee. He's been covering the Noles for the past 8 years.
At this point, I really couldn't tell you a winner. I wouldn't be shocked if Florida State's on the winning end of that. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Syracuse, just because at this point, Florida State's such a guessing game that it's hard to predict.
And I feel like they don't have much to lose. So now's a good chance, a good opportunity to play around a little bit and see what you can do.
And as the Orange are heading down to Tallahassee, back on the road for the first time in forever, let's get to the keys to the game in this one and how we can see Syracuse returning home at 4-1, Jonathan. And we'll start with yours. I like them.
Feed the beast. The best player on the team, Sean Tucker. Give him the ball. He's a playmaker, an executor. He does a really good job. Feed the beast. Second, spread the ball around. Let's go downfield. Let's find Taj Harris. Let's utilize
wide receivers involved.
Taj Harris. Utilize the whole field, not only the run game. It's a two-dimensional sport here, Tommy. Third is communicate, and I'm talking about the center and the quarterback. Last game against Liberty, a lot of high snaps, low snaps, left and right. Those guys have to be in sync. They have to communicate. If SU can nail those 3 keys to the game, they have a chance, Tommy, to win this game. What are your keys?
Let's flip the page to my keys to the game. Jonathan and I didn't coordinate this beforehand, but I did word it a little bit differently, and that is feed number 34. You're looking at one of the best running backs in the country, leading the country in rushing yards, 500 more, or over 500 a game, and we're only 4 games into the regular season. And actually, when you have a guy like RG3, the former Heisman winner, Robert Griffin III, putting Tucker in his early top 5 Heisman watch, you give that guy the ball. Number 2 is QB protection. If it is Schrader back there, DeVito, it doesn't matter. When those guys are getting just rushed within seconds every time, it doesn't give them the opportunity to get the ball downfield. And when you have a loaded box that's going to be expecting Tucker, you got to give them some time to air it out. Number 3 is Super Schmidt. And you'll see in a reason in terms of our predictions why I think he's going to be so crucial. And that I think this one is going to come down to just a field goal or 2. And that's going to mean this guy has to be on his money, which I think he will be.
Tommy, now's a good time for some predictions.
It's the best part of the show.
Here
Let's
we go.
start us off.
Roll the predictions.
I'm going Syracuse 27, Florida State 20.
I like that.
Now you might say, hey, Florida State, 20 points? That's an 0-4 team. We got to remember there is no team that's going to be hungrier than a team like Florida State, a top program, one that we've seen year in and year out in the top 10, all of a sudden finds themselves in this situation. You have a fan base that's pissed. They're angry.
Diehard fan base.
Diehard fans. They're
They
going
love
to be
the
there in
Noles.
Tallahassee. It's going to be loud. SU has struggled. This one's coming close, but I think that score ends up being 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals from Andre Schmidt. I am quite literally tossing you the football.
I respect that prediction. I'll take the Orange here, 24-17. I think we see more of the SU pass game come to life. I'm excited to potentially see that. Hopefully Sean Tucker can continue to do what he's been doing all season. I'll take the Orange here, 24-17, their first road game, Tommy, since the first week of the season. This will be a big test for the Orange as they open ACC play.
It's a big one, and let's flip it over to how to watch, how to listen, and of course, what the bookies are saying. Vegas does not like our picks, John. They're expecting FSU favored by 5 points in this one, over under around 51 points, right around our prediction. This one, ACC Network kickoff set for 3:30, radio 99.5, 101.5 FM. So midday game, I like it. Gives fans a chance to really think about it. Get to see that noon slate, and eventually 3:30. This is a big game, a chance for SU to return home for Wake Forest and then Clemson, another Friday night game. Friday night games in Central New York just hit different.
Tommy, tonight before we wrap up this show, we have the best of the best from week 4. What do they call it?
They call it Sights and Sounds. The Dome was rocking for that Liberty game. Let's relive that magic. I'm Tommy Sladek, Jonathan saying Orange Zone. We're out of here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you later.